people decide no before they try. You just decided no because the system tells you no. You've been sold no. And by the way, not just you, the fucking world. Not tough situation, the world. Everybody's saying no. I just say yes. And then if it's a no, I don't give a fuck. You're gonna judge me that I lost? I don't give a fuck what you think. And that's why I get so into that. Because then you're not scared to try shit. Because when you don't give a fuck what anybody says about you failing, you love failing. I love losing. It is crazy. Because
I hear you saying that all the time, and it is crazy that you say that. And
I love it.
About it all the time, because with him and YouTube, and it's like we partner on this. You know, like I hate being on camera, and that's like not my thing. So he does that, and I do a lot of like social media stuff and things like that, and partnering with him. But
you're thinking about distribution.
It bums me when something doesn't work, and we think it's going to be great, and the idea of loving the failure. That always
I love getting punched in the mouth. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
What is it about the failure that you love or
I want to? It makes me want to stick it to everybody who judged me when they judged my fail.
And that's true. I like that part.
Well, that's it. I like it. No. I actually love it. You just kind of like it.
I don't think I understand it yet. We haven't scored that big. I mean, maybe this is.
I get it. Like to me, it's like it's a chip on the shoulder. I loved being an underdog. I loved being like from Russia and not speaking English and like being small. Like somewhere around third grade, I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna be as good at sports as these other kids are getting real fucking tall. Like just like like I just loved it, and I still love it. And it's really funny now that I've made it in my little space. Like I want to do other shit, cause I don't want to. Like as soon as I won the wine game, I left, cause I don't want to be the top dog. I don't want people trying to get me. I want to try to get them. I love the grind. I love, you like that?
That's tough. It's real shit too, because it's like when you're at the top, it's like there's nowhere else to go. It's
it
like
sucks.
Everybody is right at your neck, but when you always reaching for the top, then it's like that constant grind.
And I gotta tell you, man, and I'm telling you, my friend, this is the operating system of the universe. This is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing that matters. The attention on this is the game.
You spoke about loving your life, loving your life.
Yes.
And you spoke about a whole lot of people that don't love their life.
Yes.
When did you start loving your life, and when did you consider yourself to be successful? Because I mean, if you compare yourself to where you started off, would you consider yourself successful, or at what point did you sort of turn around and say, you know what, I'm a success?
I started loving my life fully the day I was done with school. So I would say, yeah, I'm being serious. Like school was a burden on me, and I hated it, and it took up a lot of time. So I would say the day I fully went there was, like I've always loved, like I would say around 10 or 11 is when I started to understand myself in a funny way, where I was willing to be bad at school and did not think it represented who I was. So that was like an early seed. When I really had nothing on my chest other than joy was when I was done with school, because that was a burden. I've never really deemed myself successful or not successful. I've never judged myself.
So when would you say that you started really loving your life? Sort of, because there was a moment where you'd say, you were the 28-year-old wine cellar working for your father. Were you loving life at that point, or?
Yes.
Fair enough.
My bigger question to you is, what's making you not love your life?
It's a great question.
So answer it.
Not achieving what I think that I can achieve.
For whom?
For me.
Why are you doing that to yourself?
I don't know. It's a matter of not achieving. I think that I'm capable of more than one thing. So it's a matter of, do I go in this direction? Do I go in that direction? Where do I commit? Where do I put the effort? Where do I put?
But what are you scared of that's not letting you make decisions?
Missing out.
On what?
On the other things that, you know, if I go down one direction, you miss out on another thing.
Can I give you some really, really good news?
Yeah?
No matter what you ever decide, you'll never know if the other thing would have been anything.
So dive in, commit.
You're not gonna, sitting around and debating which option's better will never show you which option was better. Let me give you an example. I passed on investing in Uber from one of my best friends, twice. Had I made a normal $25,000 investment like I was doing at the time, I would have made somewhere close to $500 million. The reason it doesn't even sit with me is I also know had I done that, my life would have been completely different. And I don't know that that would have meant that I would have found myself in Shanghai one night for a business meeting that would have led me to, and maybe not paying attention, I would have been hit by a car and died. I believe that you're scared to lose. That's why you're not doing anything. And that it feels better to pretend you're capable instead of seeing if you're capable. You know what I mean? You're protecting yourself.
So less bubble wrap, more school fights, is that what you're saying?
That's right, bro. You know what I mean? It's so fun to be no, guys, I'm not, you're protecting yourself from what's burning you up inside is you know the truth. You know what the coolest thing about being a person is? You actually know. You're what? Thank you for, I thought it was the most profound thing I said all day. So I think you're fucking amazing for that clap. And I'll tell you where me and you are sharing this moment. People are posturing. The reason you're hurting inside is you know you're acting. But inside you know you're scared of shit. You're scared. That's why you're not doing. You're not scared of missing out on the alternative. You're scared of doing. Because if you do, then you might fail. You gotta practice losing, my man, instead of making pretend you won't lose.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Because I see that hit for you, don't worry about their judgment. What's gonna happen? You're gonna fail, and then your mom or your dad or your best friend's gonna see you suck, and you're gonna say, what? You suck too. Not doing it is this fake game that everyone's playing so someone can tell them, if you don't play, you didn't lose. The biggest thing I fear when I see in children is their fear to play the game, because it means they're scared of losing. That means they're insecure.
How did you get the first client in VaynerMedia? What was the process to get the first one?
Well, the reality was, I really believe in asking. You can just ask, especially today. If people are just starting and they need a customer, you post content and you DM people. When people are always like, Gary, I can't get a customer. I'm like, how many people did you hit up on LinkedIn? How many people did you cold email? And how many people did you cold DM yesterday? The answer is always nothing. And in reality, for me, it's just why, if you want something, why aren't you not asking? You don't want to be annoying. You don't want to be a spam bot, but if you don't ask, you don't get. And so, for me, it was asking. Mine came a little bit different because I was already starting to build brand, and there was definitely people coming to me, but the reality is it's just very easy to ask in today's environment. I still believe for most people, putting proper content on LinkedIn, speaking about your expertise and/or passion leads to an incredible amount of business opportunities. And most youngsters don't even think about LinkedIn because it's a TikTok, Instagram world. And I highly recommend this room get way more serious about LinkedIn content, because the opportunities of business development are extremely strong there. Even if you're selling a fitness app or t-shirts or banana pudding, it's not a B2B environment, it's B2B environment, but it has people in it, and people buy banana pudding.
So when people see you do so much content, how you speak, it can almost be overwhelming if we aren't great at communicating.
Yes.
So for that kind of entrepreneur, what should they actually go about it?
Well, maybe you shouldn't be communicating in video form. I mean, there's a lot of you that I've seen your videos. You really should not be doing but you might be great at writing. Like the written word is dominating. Like you could take a photo of something and then write a fucking 3-paragraph banger and accomplish the same thing I can by speaking. Or maybe the camera throws you off, but you are a good speaker, and maybe you should be using the Memos app on your phone and then putting that over an image. So there's many different ways to communicate. Or maybe you can't do any of them. You can't speak on video, and you can't write. Then you get a partner who can. There's always an answer. But I love when people are like, Gary, but I can't communicate. This is fucked up. I'm like, well, I can't play basketball. And I'm not saying it's fucked up that nobody's paying me $40 million a year to play basketball. Like, there is no fucked up. There's merit. If you're not good at something, you shouldn't be compensated for it. And the reason there was so many laughters that I brought, let me give you the insight. We are living in the greatest era of entitlement in human history. The reason everyone just laughed earlier and clapped now is something happened. Let me tell you what it's called. Prosperity. It's been so good for so long in Australia and America and Europe and all these parts of the world. Of course, not for every person, of course, but the net. And so for some reason, people just think because they're breathing air, shit should happen. That goes into parenting. For a lot of parents here, they don't realize paying for their kids' lives is fucking it up. If you're a parent in here and your child is over the age of 22 years old and you give them money, bad things are happening. Well, it's definitely not too saturated. Every day, people are popping off. The reason people say it's too saturated is they're not good enough. I love when people are like, yo, here's my favorite DM, yo, Garyvee, I'm fucking shadow banned. It's not oversaturated, it's competitive. Because now more people know the game exists. You stand out by bringing value. The biggest thing I see every day is most people post from a selfish place. Follow me, like me, buy my shit. I think the easiest way to stand out is every single time I post something on social media, and this is real talk, the only thing I think is, why would this be good for anybody? It's why I never show any parts of my life that are not what value is a post that you see of somebody boarding a private plane? What's that doing for you? When I razz my friends about it, they're like, oh, it makes it aspirational. I'm like, for like 3 people. The other 4 billion people feel like shit. So I think that it's not saturated. I think there's more attention than ever. Yes, there's more competition. If you want to break out, you've got to ask yourself, why is it bringing value to people? Like, why is this post valuable? And I think all of us, if we opened our phones right now and went in the stream, you can see it as clear as day. The first 10 posts you look at are not valuable for you, they're valuable for the other person, which is why most people aren't sustainable.
And what about the self-esteem to be able to be like, well, maybe, because many people think they're not good enough to post anything. So how's the mentality or mindset around self-esteem and building that?
Well, now you're getting to the most interesting shit. I mean, I think that's a big deal. Like, self-esteem is everything to me. Like, I think parents' number one job in the world is to build non-delusional self-esteem in their children. 99% of us, the person that made you insecure is your mom or your dad. And that goes into some deep ass shit, which is why I'm so happy that the stigma of therapy is going away during this generation, right? For all of us that are sitting here, every one of us that are sitting here right now, no matter the age, your parents lived in a world where no one talked about therapy, or, you know, it just had crazy stigma. If you went to go see a psychiatrist, you were crazy. The fact that we are so fortunate to be living on earth where that is now not the case is huge.
How does someone build the self-awareness to help to kind of become more vulnerable to their team and their staff members themselves? Experience.
I think the more things don't work out, the more you're like, what do I have to do to change? I mean, vulnerability is a superpower. And everybody thinks it's a weakness. It's a superpower. Like there's nobody on earth that's perfect. And I think people should lean into their vulnerability, and it's hard for alphas, male and women. But to answer your question directly, I think the reps. When you see your bullshit doesn't work 3, 4, 5 times in a row, you get to a crossroads where you have to make a decision. Am I gonna live in a delusional state with my own self, or do I want the success that I'm trying to achieve? And I think if you believe in the merit of the game, you start conforming to the truth instead of your own delusion. I had a real kryptonite in my happiness, which was a strength that ended up being my greatest weakness. I had to learn how to deliver candor to people that I love. My candor on stage right now is off the charts. When I'm not talking to anybody directly, this is all day. The second you are even shifting from acquaintance to friend, my ability to tell you things that I don't like started to disappear. If I love you, I had nothing to say. I was just gonna make it good for you. And so I really struggled with that. And it really led to a lot of resentment. When you can't articulate things to people, you start to resent. And that really caused me a lot of, all my pain in my personal life and my professional life. The single reason I wrote 12 and a half was to talk about my inability to be candorous and to talk about this concept of kind candor, which has really worked for me and is working for a lot of people that are reading the book and understand the concept, which is can deliver critical feedback or even something potentially that sounds negative. It was something I had to go through.
How did you start to improve that skill set? Was it or how did you kind of go about it?
The same way people go about getting into shape. You go to the gym begrudgingly the first time and you feel like shit and you can't do shit and it sucks and it's the worst. And then you just go back the next day and it's a little bit better. And then a year later, you're in the game. I started making myself uncomfortable. Once I realized it, because it was subconscious for so long, once it became conscious to me, I started to practice it. I just knew that I wasn't gonna be able to live a life where I had now become aware that I was bad at something and I was gonna sweep it under the rug. That would go against every way my chemicals work. And so I just started practicing. Burnout's complicated. Look, the theme of this talk so far, before we go into Q&A, I think people burn out because they're not doing their thing. Right? Like, we all burn out. If you asked me to hang a picture right now on a wall, I'd be burned out by the time I got to the hammer. That's not my thing. I don't want to do that shit. Right? Like, I'm exhausted. I can work 19 hours a day. I can literally do this in front of this audience for the next 48 hours straight and not sleep. You ask me to go walk a dog, I'll be sleeping within the first second. I don't want to do that. So I think the reason people burn out is because they're not doing their thing. Normally people are not doing their thing because they got trapped by the money. Either the chase of it, or they're making, and now they're living within the means of that money and they're stuck. They're like, Gary, I can't quit my job. I'm like, you could if you decided to stop spending the same amount of money that you spend on yourself. You could sell your house, you could, but nobody wants to go backwards. Meanwhile, they're mentally backwards every day. People are not going backwards financially, moving back in with their parents, selling their shit, they're not going backwards financially to be unhappy their whole lives. Do you know how fucked up that is? And nobody's talking about this shit in a real way because everything's been commercialized. People are literally like unhappy so they can buy a Louis Vuitton bag, which gives them a boost for about an hour and a half, and then they're back to being fucking miserable.
Ambition become like yes, I want more, but like I'm so thankful for what I have already. Like in spite of nothing, like everything I have is in spite of nothing. I don't have that struggle that I wish I kind of did now. But like how do you find that balance? And I think you're just gonna look at me and say it's self-awareness. Like I know when I'm being a lazy fuck, and I know when I've done good.
But it's actually, yes, but I actually think it's a little bit different than that. Actually, it's not self-awareness for me. Maybe it is the right answer for you, but let me go where I'm going. You're overthinking it. Jared, you're
everything, bro.
No shit. You know, you're overthinking it. Like, do me a favor, don't analyze tomorrow. Excuse me, yesterday. Stop analyzing yesterday.
And that's the thing, like I don't have like some arbitrary number, you know what I mean? Like I'm 32 delivering pizzas. I know I don't want to be 35 delivering pizzas, but like.
Can I ask you a question?
Like,
on some real shit. Can I ask you a question? On some real shit. Are you happy?
Dude, I'm so happy, bro. I'm like the happiest I've ever been.
Bro, listen to my fucking face. Please listen to my face. Cause that's what caught me. Bro, listen to my face. Being 35 and delivering pizza and being happy is way better than being 27 and a VP on Wall Street and being unhappy, and it's not fucking close. Bro, to the last breath I breathe, I will single-handedly, like a fucking Nova, try to change our culture to happiness, not money. With every ounce of my soul for the rest of my life, I'm completely convinced on this. Completely, brother.
Yeah, dude, I've been following your content for like 3 years, dude, and it's like, and once I started listening, it was like, dude, this is like the whole reason I even had like confidence in myself, like back then, like when I was a fuck up my whole 20s, like my whole 20s, but in my head I was like I've got massive self-awareness, I've got good intentions, I'm a genuine person, like kindness, empathy, all that. So like putting good on bad, but it's like, I feel like some days I sit back and I'm like, good things happen to good people, I'm just being a good person, and I'm like, you didn't do shit today, dude. You need to do, like, I preach macro,
that's right.
micro
That's
speed,
right.
macro patience, and like, and I'm not moving fast sometimes.
That's fine, that's different. You know, listen, bro, you just might not have ambition.
I mean, I do, but I shit work ethic. Dude, my work ethic is dog shit. That's the one thing I haven't picked up from you yet. Because you
don't like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Do you like the Jets?
I like him because you, Wayne Krabet's my dude. He got a raw shake playing in the wrong time, and Jericho Cotchery won a fantasy league for me years back. So I've got a soft spot for a few.
What's your favorite shit? Like, what do you do? Do you like video games? Do you like music? You like fucking TV?
Right now I'm flipping shit from thrift stores on the side, and I've got plans to launch my own. I'm sorry.
Do you like that, or do you do that because I like it?
Love it.
What's up? Brother? I look this whole like, bro. Do you like the flipping?
I love it,
bro. You'll make a lot more money flipping full time than you will pizza. I don't know if you were scared to swim or ride a bike or have your first kiss, but like, you know, it's just one of those games where you just gotta fucking go. Like, that's still how Candor is for me. Like, up to the second where I call an employee to tell them they're in big trouble and they may not make it here, like my stomach is like, this sucks, fuck this, you know, but you just gotta jump. And that's where, it's crazy, it's practice. It's no different than push-ups or anything you do. Like, the more practice you get better at it, it's crazy to me in these last 3 years how much easier it is for me to go there. I mean, I used to like not sleep the night before by telling an employee that they were fired. It would kill me. Like, kill me. It's the hardest part of being a business owner by far for me in my career, firing people. It's the worst. And so, I don't have that same level of anxiety anymore. I'm better at it. I also think we're doing a better job as an organization of giving feedback along the way so they're not shocked. The problem with Candor in a business environment is if you don't give it at all, you're just stunning people. And I was the worst of the worst. Not only would I not tell you that you were struggling for the last 6 months, I was fucking doing the reverse. There'd be people where I'm like, this is the worst employee I've ever had. Let's call him Johnny. I'd be like, Johnny fucking sucks. Like, I'd be in a meeting with like a heart leader and be like, Johnny's fucking trash. I'd go to the bathroom and see Johnny and be like, Johnny, keep up the great fucking work. And I'm like, fuck, why am I doing that? And then like, like, Johnny, you're killing it. And then like next Tuesday, I'm like, Johnny, we gotta let you go. He's like, motherfucker, you told me I was killing it Friday. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. Like, it was just, yes. Fuck, I'm happy that era is gone. The tough 25 years. It was really, it was really I like using kryptonite because I really am lucky. I do feel like I have Superman-like characteristics when it comes to business and life. I'm really, really fortunate. Fuck, am I fortunate? But that motherfucker, that was a fucking scarlet letter, and it is absolutely where all my personal pain comes in my life, professionally and personally, and I'm really glad I'm building in the other direction. And I think for any of you, whatever personality trait you're struggling with, like, you're not tricking anyone. You know, I think the big thing that people need to hear, you might be thinking that you're disguising your insecurity. You might trick the 98%, but you're not tricking the real ones. So stop posturing and start working on it.
And I can't get over my fear of just feeling like everything sounds really cringy and like worrying about what other people think. Like, how would you kind of get past that at the very beginning of the journey?
By posting.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
This is all the same game. This is why this is so interesting to me, Kira. Like again, play this game with me that we just played. What's gonna happen? Like, Ricky Pants 49 is gonna say you're cringy? What's gonna happen? Your high school friends are gonna be like, you're so cringy? Like, the concept of valuing other people's opinions over your own is crazy.
Yeah.
It's understandable, but it's just a game of insecurity. That statement I said 20 minutes ago, if everyone just stays in high school, you're in high school right now. I tell people all the time, when you were in high school and you were scared to go to school because you had a huge zit, the reason it was fine was everybody else was scared about their own zit. Like, people need to get over themselves. Like, nobody really gives a fuck about your cringy video.
Okay, thank you.
The reason everything's easy for me is even with all this love and admiration, like, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna die. If you're around and you like me, you're gonna be like, send whatever the X or tweet or Facebook of the day, you're gonna be like, Garyvee was awesome. Maybe you'll share the stories that you're sharing with me, and then you're gonna hit enter, and then you live your fucking life. Right? So, the fuck are you scared of?
I don't know, like, I'm still posting every day and putting it up, and I've even spoken on my stories about sounding cringy, but like, it's my own fear, and like, people have messaged me saying, no, you're not cringy, keep going, but I think it's just like this fear that I'll give myself the ick really bad and then just not post.
But like, do you think you're enjoying people telling you you're not cringy, so you just keep doubling down on it?
No, I think it's more from myself.
Why?
I think because it's so new, I've never really spoken to the camera before, so it's like foreign to me.
But what if it's awesome?
Okay.
Like, what if this is what you were meant to do? I mean, again, like, these mind games we play with each other are just totally irrelevant.
Yeah. Okay.
Just keep doing it.
Okay.
You'll get more used to it. It's kind of like, why didn't I give Candor? Because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. It made me feel bad. But then the more practice, you get better. So I think of mindset and perspective pretty similarly. The biggest mind shift for me is me not delivering candor was protecting people, is what I thought, when in reality, it was hurting people. And what triggered it was, there's no reason that anyone who's ever worked for me doesn't love me because I have incredible intent, yet there was enough people that didn't love me, and I had to be accountable. Right? So when I would go into former employee Facebook groups and there was people shitting on me, I couldn't blame them, I had to blame myself, and I had to realize that I had to up my candor game. And the mind shift, the perspective shift was, I wasn't being nice, because then they were just getting stunned at the end anyway. I was actually hurting them, and I needed to have that mind shift that lack of candor is bad, not good.
And what was that lightning bolt moment that actually got you thinking, I've got to do this?
Going to a former VaynerMedia employee Facebook group and watching people that I did incredible things for over and over saying, Gary's a fucking asshole.
They'll do it.
Yeah, that will do it. When people leave negative comments for me, the first thing I do, like I said earlier, is I have empathy that they might be in a bad place. The second thing I do is spend a lot of time to figure out if they're right. Right? I could have easily dismissed that Facebook group when I have 98% of my employees adore me. You have to have humility to have happiness. I'm telling you, there's something profound in this. If this room collectively falls in love with the word "and," I do not know what it is about you beautiful human beings, but you have just decided that "or" is more powerful than "and." The last two questions, and 80% of the questions and things that I work through is because people have put the word "or" on a pedestal and haven't understood the word "and." It's always "and."
Yeah, I guess I just didn't want to confuse I've got a really good following and people kind of trust me. They're going, why is she telling me how to make a bowl of muesli healthy? You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is what
I do.
So this is where people don't realize that they're living their lives for the algorithm and the likes and the followers and not for their soul.
Yeah.
You are not as happy as you could be because subconsciously what you actually just said is, I don't know if this content will do as well. Yeah. I post tons of content that I know will not do well because I wanted to put out a 9-minute video about sports cards and 80% of you don't give a fuck. But I don't give a fuck because it makes me happy. Fuck you.
And Gary, because of you in the last sort of 6 months, I've literally dropped 15 kilos and just got in really good shape, and I've got more energy to keep up with everything, and I think that's what I want to share with people as well. Everyone that sees me, they go, oh my God, you look skinny. Well, I wasn't fat, but you know what I mean. My weight was evenly proportioned, like you said yours used to be. So I've just trimmed it in a little bit more. So thank you so much. You've helped me in every aspect of my life. Thank you.
By the way, let me go even more technical because this will free up a lot of you. It used to be a high majority of your followers would see your shit. If you're paying attention at home, it's not like that anymore. It's the algorithm. So now there's more freedom to post whatever the fuck you want because it's the individual piece of content that's going to find the audience, not the people that already followed you. Got it? So this is the greatest era in social media in the last 15 years to explore different creative because it's the individual piece now. It doesn't work like email anymore where you blast it and all your people see it. The interest graph, not the social graph, is what's dominating the algorithms. So now's the time to take risks and try new shit. Because what they just both talked about is 90% of what a lot of you are thinking about if you're producing content. Do you have an idea for another business that you believe that you'll like better because it's more strategy? Because every business needs operations.
I love what we do. I'm very passionate about it still, so I haven't lost the passion, but I've got other ideas that I think could be
bigger.
I manage 50 staff right now, so that's quite draining.
Why don't you hire someone to do that?
I've got a team of 4 admin, so across us we kind of do that. Any escalations come to myself.
What about bringing in somebody more senior to be like a general manager?
Like an operations director?
Mm-hmm.
I do have one.
How about another one?
The profit's nice. So, I mean, that's an idea. But how would you position the two? Would you have an operations
Make less
director?
profit and be happier.
But what would the two roles be? So
divide and conquer responsibilities. It's operations. It's not hard.
Or would you have a COO?
Yes.
And the operations director?
Sure.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you could go that way. You could easily have 2 people that report to you and they divide.
Sure.
But like, I love that we got to that place. You're literally compromising your ability to start something else, be happier, all for a couple shekels on the profit margin.
The other thing to note is I could probably double the income in about 1 or 2 years as well, if I really hustled in what we're currently doing.
The real thing you should know is if you hire capable people to do shit that you don't love, you might be able to triple it.
Yes.
I didn't get up here with my looks.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was some gangster shit, right?
Yeah.